Welcome back. On the 2nd of October, Hands Across the Sea, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, held a teachers' workshop at the Sandals Latok Conference Room. The workshop, facilitated by local literacy links, was aimed at training teachers on the use of the Literacy Resource Guide in order to ensure smooth implementation. Literacy Links are on-island team members of Hands Across the Sea, dedicated to coordinating projects on island. As links, they work closely with educators to identify areas of need in literacy and train teachers, librarians, and student librarians to address these weaknesses. The organization has thus far aided with the literacy program at 11 schools on island, reaching a total of 2,738 students in its library rehabilitation project. Now, a more sustainable way of instilling the importance of literacy has been brought forward and is in the process of implementation.
So that in itself is another hindrance, and it prevents our children from being able to access quality reading or storybooks for them to read. Hands Across the Sea has come to our rescue over the past 11 years. They're into their 12th year this year. And among the programs that they continue to provide the islands, that's the 6 islands of the OECS, are creating, rejuvenating, sustaining lending libraries, training our student librarians, developing manuals, and teacher resource guides to support the work of literacy and education.
Paul says the implementation of the Teacher's Resource Guide has been a highly sought-out development for literacy advancement in St. Lucia.
To achieve our goal of today, we need to see and know that the Teacher Resource Guide, which you will at least have some time to review, was put together by, I think we have 2 persons who from the ELP team in St. Lucia, that's Stephanie and Jennifer. They worked to get part of the Teacher's Resource Guide compiled. Additionally, there were other literacy persons from the islands. There were other ELP persons from the islands. And we saw that there was a need for that manual.
She underscores that educators often express interest in new methods of encouraging student interest in reading and library use.
When persons like Sheila and myself go to schools, the complaint is there. Miss, we do not know what to do when we take children to the library. That's the comment that most teachers say to us. We don't know what to do. We take them there, they take a book, and that's it. So we saw that there was a need to develop that teacher resource guide to give teachers the tools and the strategies that would connect the school library to their classroom lessons, saving time and helping their students to excel. Those teacher resource guides are in all schools where Hands Across the Sea has created a library.
Teachers at 11 schools on island currently have access to the resource guides. Taichung, Taiwan is set to get a dose of Caribbean spice, complement St. Lucia's team in the upcoming planned activities for the National Day Parade. The Who's Who of Culture met on the 1st of October to provide insight into the planned trip and announce 2 massive cultural icons of St. Lucia who were chosen to set the pace for continued cultural exchanges between St. Lucia and Taiwan. More in this report.
A cultural journey to Taiwan has been embarked upon by 15 St. Lucia nationals within the arts, music, and culture industry. St. Lucia has accepted an invitation from allied nation Taiwan to be part of the Taiching Jazz Festival and the Taiching Instruments Festival to take place in Taipei from October 2nd to October 15th. Chairman of the Cultural Development Foundation, Daniel Belizar, says the chosen jazz act to represent St. Lucia in Taiwan will be none other than experienced jazz artist Ronald Bu Hingson.
Mr. Hingson will be traveling to Taichung first in Taiwan and then on to Taipei to perform at two musical events. He leaves tomorrow with his band. And that is the first announcement. The second announcement is that during the visit of Her Excellency, the President of Taiwan, to St. Lucia, at a ceremony at the opening of the HRDC building in Guzile. I engaged in a conversation with the ambassador of Taiwan and the Minister of Culture in Taiwan, and it was agreed that at this year's National Day Parade, which is a very large event in Taiwan, one of the largest, if I'm not mistaken, they wanted a cultural exchange at this event, and the decision at the time was to take the winners of the King and Queens of the bands this year to Taiwan.
Representative of Tribe of Twelve, Mark Louis, says the continued exchange of culture will fare well for growing relations between St. Lucia and Taiwan.
We are of the view that cultural exchanges are one of the fastest growing ways in which countries can come together and cement relationships. And out of that can result in many other fruits, economic fruits, social fruits, manufacturing, you name it. Because once the cultural linkage is established, then the two countries we can safely see are building a strong and healthy relationship. The Tribe of 12 needs to thank everyone because we are aware of the logistics, particularly for the Tribe of 12. But in-house, it gave us some headaches also. How do we dismount our costumes? Some of them are 20 feet high, and travel them and transport them. But we were able to do so. And we must see that the support of CDF, support of Mr. Bill is at the office of the Prime Minister. I'm told of the fruitful nights and long nights spent trying to hammer out where do we go, given the limited funds. And so we are indeed very happy that we were able to pull it off.
Counselor in the Embassy of Taiwan in St. Lucia, Bill Shai-Shang Wang, emphasizes the excitement he says resonates with persons in Taiwan awaiting St. Lucia's participation in the nation's cultural festivities.
The world-renowned, Boo is going to perform there. And I'm particularly excited because you might not know that both my colleague Jonathan and I are from the central part of Taiwan, and we both received our education in Taichung City. And Taichung City has traditionally been called the cultural city of Taiwan. Even back 100 years ago when the city first was founded, it was renowned for its cultural activities. And I believe the performance by Boo is going to add lots of Caribbean spice into the cultural atmosphere in Taichung City. So allow me to wish every success of Boo and all the performers from St. Lucia, because really you are going to make St. Lucia shine in the glorious October month of Taiwan. Thank you very much.
St. Lucia will be one of the first countries to ever participate in Taiwan's National Day Parade, to be held on October 10th in Taipei. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
The Department of the Public Service will on Friday the 4th of October host a staff retreat at the Royalton Resort and Spa. The retreat will be held under the theme, Service Delivery, Our New Reality. More in this report from Jolita Peter.
The retreat will provide a forum while staff will engage in activities geared at promoting professionalism and effective service delivery. Sheila Imbert is the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Department of the Public Service.
Prior to the staff retreat, we held a management retreat where we did a comprehensive review of our strategic plan, which is supposed to be a 3-year plan. And at that event, all the managers were able to visualize the public service and set some goals and objectives. And we're going to tie in the management retreat to the staff retreat with the hope of coming up with a strategic plan that is going to guide the work program of the Department of Public Service for the next 3 years.
Meantime, over the past few months, staff throughout the public service has benefited from a number of self-development and professional exercises facilitated by the Public Service Training Institute and the Department of the Public Service Employee Assistance Program. The more recent one being a 3-day supervisory skills training. The objective was to assist participants in better understanding their role as supervisors and equip them with the requisite skills to increase their effectiveness and efficiency in the workplace. In order to facilitate the staff retreat, the Department of the Public Service will be closed on Friday, October 4th. Services at the department resume on Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. From the Communications Unit of the Department of the Public Service, Julita Peter reporting.
The Department of Education is spearheading training focused on introducing participants to gender concepts and the introduction to gender analysis. The participants are from various government departments. This forms part of the Gender Mainstreaming Project. The Gender Mainstreaming Project coordinator, Dr. Claudia Louis, says gender mainstreaming really relates to having gender in the forefront of planning throughout the government service. She says far too often the issue of gender is simply an afterthought when programs are being developed. The Gender Mainstreaming Project seeks to ensure that in budgeting and planning, issues relating to men and women are dealt with equally so that men and women benefit equally from the projects and programs of the government of St. Lucia.
The project seeks to ensure that gender is mainstreamed throughout the public service, meaning that issues of men and issues related to women are dealt with equally with every program or project implemented by the government of St. Lucia. We are dealing with concepts related to gender identity, gender versus sex. We're looking at gender sensitization. We're looking at gender stereotypes. We look at gender roles in society and how these impact the society in general and the public service in particular. It also determines the lens through which individuals budget and plan for projects that they're rolling out. Because the way that you see men and the way that you see women is going to affect how you implement a project that's going to affect both sexes.
The project's second phase of training was held under the theme Mainstreaming Gender Equality in St. Lucia's National Sustainable Development Plan. It was hosted at the National Skills Development Center as a Train the Trainers workshop. A team of national gender equality trainers will be selected from the participants of the training.
We are currently training individuals from about 20 government departments right now, and we are introducing them to the concepts, gender concepts, and issues related to gender analysis. They are representatives of their various ministries and departments, and they are expected to go back to their departments and multiply the training within their departments. We as part of the project, we will keep a network of the various participants and to ensure that they get support in presenting the issues, concepts that they learn today into their various ministries. So they would not be left on their own. As part of the project, we are going to maintain a network where we would have all of the participants being in contact with us.
The Gender Mainstreaming Project is funded by the Caribbean Development Bank and was launched in May 2019 with the inception mission by consultants from Niagara College in Canada. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Tennyson Glasgow is up next with all the sporting action.